Our name is Ghosts Want You Dead. When one shudders as if chilled by frigid air at the very thought of the mundane tasks ahead, one can sometimes escape by making the smallest alterations. That is to say, we're changing it up this week a little bit. And now that we're finished with the beginning episodes, we're altering the format slightly. So let us know if you approve or don't. Instead of recapping each episode scene by scene, in most of Victoria Winter's voiceovers, she's just giving us her usual updates on the time of day and the relative spookiness at the time. This week, the main stories are Wherever Did Willie Get Off To? He has vanished. Liz and Jerry Maguire are arguing about it. She wants him to find out where Willie is, and he thinks, well, he's gone. Isn't that what you wanted? And everyone wonders what happened to him.
What happened to Willie? Also, who cares?
Also, in addition to whatever could have happened to Willie, a man arrives who looked exactly like the portrait in the foyer that has totally been here this whole time. And this man claims to be a long lost cousin, the great 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 grandson of the subject of the portrait.
Liz seems real excited to see him and be like, oh, another Collins. And everyone is abuzz about the new strange
Yeah,
Collins.
everybody is like, "Oh, yeah, long lost cousin we've never heard of. Cool. Yeah, come on in."
Yeah,
And I did think, like, man, it must have been easy to be a con artist before the internet.
right.
You could probably pull some shit like that and
We could
just
have cleaned up, Maddie.
show up on somebody's doorstep and be like, "I'm your great uncle." Of course, then without the internet, you would also have to find out enough relevant details to
Sure.
convince the people. But still, I was thinking about that. Yeah, later on, another character shows up and feeds them all a story that is clearly not true. And they're like, yeah, sure, come stay in our house. That sounds plausible. The family all meets this new Collins cousin who does seem to drop into every conversation at least one cryptic hint that he is, in fact, the man from the portrait and not his triple great grandson. Like Laura before him, the supernatural creatures on this show are all hundreds of years old, but all also really bad at concealing the fact that they are immortal supernatural creatures. And so from Jump, Barnabas is practically like, yes, that's me in the picture. I grew up here. I know everything about this house.
Yeah, he goes on all over the place talking about how, oh, I know it well because I've studied the Collins history. Yes, that must be it. And then after he leaves, he just goes and snoops around the old house for a while. When that is found out, everyone's like, "Oh, okay, like
Interesting.
interesting." And I'm like, this man who is clearly a spooky old vampire is poking around your property and no one seems to care. But Barnabas is pretty cool though. Like he is pretty handsome and suave.
He is I wrote it somewhere, but I can't find where, but he's sort of like the bastard love child of Gomer Pyle and Count Chocula, but also kind of sexy.
I'm into it. I'll take
Like,
that.
uh, Jonathan Frid, the actor, was 42 or 43 at the time and does look not young, but is still quite attractive, I think. All of the ladies seem quite charmed by him.
Yeah, Liz is sort of like, ooh, another Collins snobbery and like just the excitement at, oh, we're old and rich and come from an old rich family was sort of amusing to me.
But at any rate, Barnabas is here and he drops in just like, oh, I've come from England and I'm your last surviving England relative. They seem to just take it at face value that, why, yes, the one member of your family that immigrated to England 200 years ago had enough journals and stories that I know everything about every inch of this property, which just isn't likely. Aside from Barnabas showing up and everybody wondering where Willie is, we do have a fun sea story where Carolyn runs into Burke Devlin at the Blue Whale, and Joe and Burke are friends now that they're not fighting over her, and it's cute. I like them as pals.
I
I
do
think
too. I think it's nice that they made up and are just buddies.
Carolyn and Joe are now friends. And Joe wants Burke and Carolyn to also be friends. But when she shows up at the bar, she warmly returns Joe's greeting, but then is real cold and uninterested in speaking to Burke.
Well, wouldn't you be? I
And
mean, that was some shit. Like I
I
would
mean,
forgive.
maybe I might also be like, yeah, this dude who I flaunted my huge crush on in front of my fiance didn't return my feelings. And I think I would just be embarrassed about everything that happened and not want to bring it up
Yeah.
anymore. Joe suggests to Burke that he apologize, and he does. Nancy Barrett knocks it out of the park acting wise.
Yeah, she did a real good job.
She always does. I think she is very good. I have only seen the first 360 something episodes, but so far she acts circles around all of the rest of the people, including our dear Joan Bennett, who has been a famous actress for 40 years at this point. Like, I think Nancy Barrett does better than all of them.
Well, I don't know. I sometimes think that I think that Joan Bennett is a good actress,
I do too.
but I do think that sometimes I get the feeling that she is tired and phoning it in.
Well, I mean,
And
you also have
I
to
have no.
remember the circumstances of her taking the job, and she's probably pretty resentful of it that she used to be a big movie star and now is reduced to working on a cheesy, campy daytime soap that can't afford to do more than one take of anything. And
Fair, yeah. I mean,
I
I'm not giving her any guff for it.
I think she's good too. I just think that Nancy Barrett is better.
Yeah,
And
she's definitely giving it her all and
of
she's very talented.
everyone, she is the one who doesn't flub her lines, or if she does,
Covers very
we don't
easily.
know it
Sure.
because she gets through it easily. But yeah, I think she is very talented. Other things that happened this week
Well, I did want to say about Nancy Barrett, or well, not Nancy Barrett herself so much as the
about
character
Carolyn.
Carolyn, is that she is still in love with Burke, and she admits this to Joe, which seems kind of like tough, but he takes it well because he's moved on and
I was
everything.
gonna say Joe doesn't care. He's got a nice girlfriend
And he's like,
now.
"Oh, this is what that's like. I should have been doing this all along." Yeah, well, sure, but I think he is a little pained to hear it, but she admits this and is kind of wanting to feel out if Burke would maybe still do her. And he apologizes and she accepts, but then she is like fishing for if things could be, and he just kind of shuts it down and is like, "Well, I like you, pal." And she sort of just accepts this and would rather have him as a friend in her life than nothing at all.
Yeah, as we're going to see, now that Manslaughter Club is over, everybody gets sort of defanged, which is funny because there's a
Uh-huh.
vampire now. But like, now that Manslaughter Club is over, Burke isn't a villain anymore, and he just becomes friends with everybody.
Yeah, it's very
And
funny to me.
uh, Roger is nicer now that all the Laura shit is over. Like, he wasn't being sinister and cagey when he met Barnabas. And he was just joking around with Carolyn and seemingly not trying to bone her. They were just having uh, fun jokes.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's just fine now that the tension of Manslaughter Club is over. In addition to all of this, we find out that Barnabas is a chupacabra. When Joe and Burke and Maggie are talking at the Blue Whale, Joe is upset because he had gone out to help his farmer relatives that live nearby because they were missing a calf. And they searched all over for it and they found the baby cow completely drained of every drop of blood right when Barnabas gets to town because he's a chupacabra.
You know what that makes me think of, don't you?
I'm not sure. Why don't you tell
Well,
me, the people?
many years ago, Matthew and I lived in a rent house in a different part of town than we were used to. And we would hear noises out back sometimes. And I am a very gullible and very easily teased person. I also get real spooked easy. And Matthew is a little bit impish sometimes. So
I am sure that
he
I
would
don't know
tell
what
me
you
little
mean.
stories when we were trying to go to bed. And he would be like, I would be like, "What's that noise?" And he would be like, "It's a chupacabra." And he would tell this long, long, winding bedtime stories about the chupacabra. And I would get all freaked out and giggly, but also be like, "No, there isn't a chupacabra. Shut up. This is stupid. Why am I so uh, amped up by it?" But sometimes I almost believed that he had seen a chupacabra out back.
Maybe I did.
Maybe you did.
Who can say?
Who
We're
could?
so old
I know.
now.
And I'm sure there's more to that story, but I literally that's all I could remember, but that's what it made me think of. And I would have been very pleased. I think we both would have been pleased if the chupacabra outback had been Barnabas and not just a regular
I
chupacabra.
forget what I said the chupacabra's name was.
I don't
I
remember.
know he had a
He
name.
did, but it's been too many years. But yeah, that just a fun little look into 25 years ago or however long that was.
And after Joe catches his friends up about the chupacabra, Willie shows up to the bar and is acting real scared and timid and weird.
Yeah.
And Burke and Maggie notice that he's there, and Burke's like, "Ooh, I'm gonna go give him what for," and is real mad that he had told Willie to leave town or else, and he hasn't left, so he's
Well,
gonna have to go follow through on that.
earlier, before Joe got there, Maggie and Burke were talking about Willie and about how Burke had kind of kicked his ass. And uh, I
Maggie
know
was so horny about it.
Manny was a little, or Manny, Maggie was a little horny about it. kind of wanted to feel his biceps a little, like, oh yeah, you kicked his ass. But he also was feeling his own biceps about it. And he's like, yeah, I did. I'm a big bad man. And it was funny. But then when Willie actually does show up a little later, Bert goes over like he's gonna kick his ass. But Willie is like weird and despondent and like won't look him in the eye and hardly responds and looks just kind of out of it. It's weird.
Yeah, and Burke goes from wanting to beat him up again to being concerned about him and wanting to take him to a doctor pretty quickly. Willie just begs him to leave him alone, so he does. But then, of course, Jerry Maguire comes in. Burke is like, yo, there's something wrong with your little friend. You go check it out. And indeed, there is. And he's also being weird with Jerry Maguire and just being real cagey about where he's been for the last couple of days and gets very visibly upset when Jerry Maguire tells him he knows that he went to the Collins tomb in the cemetery. And he's real like, no, don't talk about that.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
And then Jerry notices, hey, Willie, how come there's blood on your sleeve? Dun, dun, dun. And that's the end. Now, other highlights from the week is we did get another visit from Grandpa Graveyard
Yes, we love him.
when Jerry Maguire goes to the cemetery after Mrs. Johnson tells him every word that she and Willie had ever exchanged in one of her now I'm not one to gossip. But let me tell you everything this kid
Yeah.
said. So she tells Jerry Maguire all about the fabled Collins jewels and how Willie asked her what cemetery they were at, and she told him, and she also tells Jerry. So he, of course, heads out to check it out, where he runs into Grandpa Graveyard, who has found the gate to the Collins tomb swinging open and is freaking out. And he senses an evil presence, which he monologues at while wandering among the sarcophagi. And then as he's leaving, he runs into Jerry Maguire and is like, "Oh no, you can't be here. No living people." It's real cute.
I love
Uh,
Grandpa Gravy.
I do too. I would like him to have his own spinoff where he just
Harbingers
plays
at people.
canasta with the ghosts.
That would be fun. I would watch that.
I am looking for a particular joke that I had made. Yeah, this is not working. We
No, it's not. We
need to
went
just
too
go
fast.
back to, yeah, like I have nothing else to say and we're only 30 minutes in,
Well, we can
and
tell
half of
them.
that is bullshitting.
We can
Uh,
just be honest that it didn't work, and we'll be back next week with more details.
we forgot to talk about uh you mentioned earlier Barnabas creeping around the old house, and while he's there, he runs into David.
Oh
And it's
yeah.
very cute because David thinks he's a ghost, like naturally, because he often visits with Josette, who emerges from her painting. He thinks, oh, this is just the dude from that painting that's totally been here the whole time. And now he's another ghost for me to hang out
I
with.
did like that part a lot.
And he is disappointed to learn that this Barnabas is, in fact, flesh and blood.
I love David. I know that he gets some guff sometimes, but I like that kid.
Well, similarly, like, again, everybody's getting sort of defanged. David, but just months ago, was frequently trying to murder people and is quickly now he's just a kind of kooky but generally okay kid.
Yeah. It was early days and they were just trying to sort it out, a lot like us in this particular episode.
Anyhow, after David meets Barnabas at the old house, he runs home to tell Liz about it and how he was disappointed that he wasn't a ghost. And this week we get a lot of fun match cuts between Jonathan Frid and the painting that's been here this whole time, as if to say, like, look, it's the same dude. Look.
Mhm.
We get several of those match cuts, and in one of them, back at the main house, David is telling Liz about his run in with Barnabas, and they match cut from the painting to Barnabas still creeping around in the old house. He's talking to the portrait of Josette and is like, so you're a ghost, huh? Well, will you tell my dad that I say hi?
Yeah, it
Then
was
he
kind of
does
sweet.
some light villain monologuing before the end credits about how, yes, I am the same dude from the painting and I am back to reclaim the life that was stolen from me.
Well, he's feeling salty about how like bad shit happened to him and he got vampired or whatever, and that Josette didn't protect him or no one protected him. Like, because I guess
Well,
he was
Josette wasn't a ghost at the time.
sure, I know, but he was mad about it and was part that was part of his monologuing was just like, why didn't anyone to protect poor little me?
We'll have to see how some of that plays out in the time travel bits, because I haven't seen the 1966 version time travel bits, but I have watched the 1991 revival that covers all of that, and we'll talk about that off mic. But
Sure.
I do have another spoilery thing I want to tell you about. Something else I wanted to bring up after a year's worth of episodes where we seem to only ever hear three songs at the Blue Whale, their music selection is broadening. Like, just in these 5 episodes, I heard 2 new songs at the Blue Whale. There was a real peppy, kinda rockin' one, and then there was a fun, jazzy number with
Ooh,
horns that
saxophones. Yeah.
yeah.
I remember listening to that thinking this is different. And also I thought it was odd because Burke and Jerry Maguire were kind of mean mugging at each other during it, but it was a sexy saxophone, but they were being all grr at each other.
And we still have some of the old standbys, like when Carolyn and Burke are having their awkward conversation down to the whale, they play the "Don't They Know It's the End of the World" music again. And
Yeah.
Jerry Maguire had some nerve this week because while he and Liz are fighting about, like, where's Willie? And are you going to find him? And why don't you give me back that $500 if he's gone? And Jason and not Jason, Jerry.
I mean,
Uh,
it is Jason, but
I
we
know,
refuse.
but see, the thing is, we have a nickname for Jerry Maguire that isn't Jerry Maguire, but the relevant plot details haven't unfolded yet, so I can't call him that.
Right.
So we're going to stick for with Jerry Maguire for now because I am making the requisite Jerry Maguire joke now.
Yes.
Which, during their little argument, they're talking about the $500, and not only does he want to keep that, he is also asking Liz to once again show him the money and is like, well, yes, I'm keeping that $500, but also could I have a little bit more money? We have made the show me the money joke that we have neglected to make in the last
I
couple
just
of
think it's really
episodes.
funny that like I came up with Jerry Maguire and then never ever once made the comment. I really only came up with it because I couldn't remember his freaking name because he's an unmemorable schmuck. Ugh. That accent's real bad too. But is a little bit growing on me. Like he's getting into it. He's doing a little better.
I maintain that I would like to see that actor in something else, and I wonder if he's just good at his job or if he really is that much of a slimy fuck. Like,
Yeah, I think there are definite actors that like are just good at playing bad.
I'm just sort of randomly scrolling.
I'm just trying to think of
through my
anything.
notes to see if there's anything else with. Oh, a moment I did enjoy was when Roger notices that cousin Barnabas has the ring from the painting. Again, with the incest, Roger takes Barnabas's hand and is like tenderly holding his hand for a long time, admiring this ring. And then after he's no longer holding his hand, and Roger's like, regaining his composure, and he's like, "Yes, it's very handsome." Like, they gonna fuck. And given that beach photo of the two of them in their skimpy bathing suits,
Yeah,
I imagine they probably did fuck.
I also imagine that is a great picture, though.
Yeah.
They are looking hot and gay and happy. Things I like. Yeah, I would love to, and I guess we will at some point. I'm sure there are more biographical books about the show that we haven't gotten to. I've
There are
enjoyed
lots
Maggie's,
that
but
we there are lots of books about the history of the making of the show and the cast and everything, and there's a feature-length documentary about Jonathan Frid, and there's a biography of the actor who played Roger, and Catherine Lee Scott has a straightforward memoir about the making of the show. We have just been avoiding them because these are all things that were written after the show was done and will contain spoilers and
yeah,
references to cast members and storylines we don't know yet. But yeah, there's lots to dive into.
well, I look forward to it.
I think we're going to need an air conditioner break after this
I
because
agree.
it's stuffy and I can't breathe. There were also some other fun look. Guys, he's a vampire things thrown in throughout these episodes. Like Barnabas and Vicky are talking at the old house, and the door is magically stuck to prevent her from leaving. And then he opens it for her and steps out into the night surrounded by fog and talks to her while dogs howl in the background. And
Yeah.
lots of very, yeah, he's a vampire. He practically says, "Hey, I'm a vampire," every time he talks to anybody.
I like it.
It's real cool. I am also fond. Aside from that, I think we covered most of what is going on. I'm just trying to think if there are any moments we need to talk about. Oh, and during that same exchange with Vicky with the howling dogs and things, Barnabas goes on to tell Vicky about all of the sadness and hatred in the old house and an argument that led to a man's death. And then at death, he's like, "Death? Death? Like, did he really
Dun,
die?"
dun, dun.
And then begins laughing inappropriately,
I
as
forgot
if
about
to
that.
say, "By the way,
I
I am
am a
totally a
vampire.
vampire." It is not subtle.
That's fun.
I almost would have preferred it if it was more of a surprise. Like if we didn't see the bit with Willie opening the coffin and Willie just disappeared and then Barnabas shows up
Yeah, that would have been more
and
fun.
we are meant to believe that he really is just a cousin from England they didn't know about. And he were able to integrate himself into the family. And then we get a big surprise reveal that he's a vampire.
Well, that could have been
I
fun.
think that would have been narratively more satisfying.
Sure. I
But
kind of
this is also
enjoy
fun, like, "Oh,
the
he's
heavy
totally a
handedness.
vampire, and these people are just oblivious."
I greatly enjoy that. And I mean, it was fun with Bird Lady too. Like, I enjoyed that same sort of attitude of like, this is very obviously what's happening, but no one around at all perceives it. Yeah, we're not going to do it this way again.
Probably not. This experiment was not a great success, and we did not fill our usual amount of time. And also, I will confess that I couldn't make myself not take notes the way that I have taken notes for the last 8 months or however long we've been doing this.
Yeah.
So I did still write a scene by scene recap that is just less detailed than normal. So who knows? I might add it in later. We'll see how this comes together tomorrow. But frankly, we've got bigger fish to fry because we need to finish planning our big 1 to 210 recap, which we were meant to record tonight. But while we planned to start at 5:30, we didn't start until like 9, and we kept taking lots of snacks and chatting breaks.
It was nice
So
to snack and chat with you, though.
it was fun, but now we have to do it tomorrow, probably.
Yeah.
But I am going to make you do the technical stuff now and figure out how to make the video work. But anyway, sorry, this episode sucks. We did not plan our format change very well or prepare for it adequately. We'll either try it again or go back to the old way next week. Are you listening to our bonus recaps of AMC's The Vampire Lestat? If you are, there's only two left.
Ooh.
The
And
ultimate
shit's getting
episode
good.
is on tomorrow.
It's getting good too. It's spicing up a bit.
Also, we're going to be talking about the book in this month's Tome Troop.
We are.
And on this month's Tea in the Drawing Room, we're going to have a little state of the podcast meeting with our dear patrons. Speaking of which, this program is brought to you by Amy and Austin and Jacob, and we thank them for their support. Follow us on Instagram and Threads and Blue Sky and YouTube, and we're also on Reddit if you want to fight with us. At Ghosts Want You Dead, all of those places on the internet.
I'll fight with people on Reddit. I need to do that anyway.
Yes, you do. Go start some Reddit fights and get us some attention. Anyway, it's very hot in here and we need an air conditioner break, so we are hanging up now.
We love you. Goodbye.